welcome again, Dana, Anthony. Great to talk to you again. There were a lot of unanswered questions, and one of them was about shamanic journeying and what does drumming have to do with it. So could you explain to viewers and to me what is shamanic journeying?
So shamanic journeying is inner flight, is an inner journey into your body, which is a temple. And in this temple, what the shaman call it is the spiritual world, but what I call it is the playground of wisdom and medicine. And you go in guided by someone playing a drum with an intent, with a question that you've been either dying to ask for years or just questioning related to whatever you're going through in life, and your intent should open your way. The intent is almost like the doorway into this drum. And the drum is there to ignite this trance state. And the trance state is what opens the vehicle and opens the journey into this inner world that we all are part of. And in this world, we receive the medicine and the messages we need. So it's literally an inner flight into yourself to find out more about you, according to what you need in life, according to your questions, according to your tears, according to your success, according to your happiness. What is it that you're asking spirit that in this shamanic journey you're going to receive? And sometimes you don't receive anything, and sometimes you do. And the receiving process is very abstract and diverse. You might receive a riddle, an affirmation, a mantra, a feather, a color, a smell, a fragrance, come across different entities, spirits, and creatures, and plants, and they all are all part of your medicine and your empowerment and your inspiration. They are the inspiration for your healing, the journey of your healing, basically.
Could you say that they're part of your either subconscious or superconscious of the universe consciousness that you are picking up on? That's one part of the question. And I want to ask you, when I hear the word medicine, I think of healing. And are we talking about all forms of healing? There's spiritual healing, there's psychological healing, there's physical healing. We don't want to make any claims here that there is a healing, but there is a possibility of healing, is what I'm hearing.
That's the trick. The medicine comes without an identity, without preferences. The medicine, you can use it in multi-dimension parts of your life. That's the cool part about it.
And that's what shamanic journeying is. It's that
It's just
multi-dimensional awareness.
It's just taking that simple message that on the physical world you can't figure out, which is the middle world. It's the middle world, where the matrix is. It's where the illusion is playing with your spiritual path. It's where things are playing with your peacefulness, with your sadness. The ignition of your sourness is here in this middle world. So you're taking this scuba dive, this skydive into yourself to figure out what is it that you need here that you can't find here, but it's within you. And that medicine, you can transport it any level and dimension of your life, mentally, physically, spiritually, wellness, work-related, life, everything, because it is so diverse. It has no identity. It's not he, she, they, there. No, it just is everything.
So that if there's an imbalance, it might be an imbalance on many levels, but we're only seeing the immediate manifestation in our daily life. Dana?
Well, when we journey, we're using, to go back to your original question about the drum is just a way for us to alter our conscious. There's something about the drum beat that allows us to relax into a different state. You can do that through dance. You can do that through movement. Traditionally, shamans did it through using mind-altering substances. That's of course something you can do. That's not what we do in our work. But when we're journeying, you're always going to the other side. You're going directly to spirit. So in order for something to be considered a shamanic function, it has to be an altered state. It has to be a connection with spirit, and it has to be a journey to the other side. So then when we're journeying, we're doing it with intent, right? We're usually we're journeying for this purpose. It's also great to journey to see what spirit has to show you. And then when you go to the other side, you're deciding, am I staying on this plane of existence? Am I moving across time and space? Maybe we're going to a multi-dimensional awareness. You know, maybe it's another version of ourselves. Maybe it's a past life we've experienced. Maybe it's some version of something we would consider the future. You can ascend and climb up this great tree of life and go to work with in the heavens, you know, to work with gods, goddesses, other ascended beings that come through for you. Or you can go down to what's called the underworld or the land of the dead, and that's where we're going to work with ancestors, with beings of the earth, you know, and wherever you go is the medicine that you need, right? So it's so hard to say what that medicine's going to be. We can set an intention like we did at the last circle to journey with the trees, right? Some people climbed up the tree. Some people went underneath. Some, you know, like
Some people merged in with the tree and found their
yeah.
medicine.
So what is your, in general, what is your process when you create the circle? You have people, they come to the circle. What is the process to create the circle and also to be with the people in the circle? What is that process?
Yeah. Well, we start ahead of time. I mean, we go to spirit to create these circles. We have an idea, right? We
Right.
have a thing. We bounce it off of each other. We're usually on the same page, which is pretty cool.
And we are at the same time.
Yeah. And we do our own journeys to get
Yeah.
to what we're going to do for the circle. But when we work, we always open. So we're always calling the spirits in. We're protecting ourselves.
It's spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are never trying to control the outcomes of these circles. It's more about, we are more in control of the prepping of it. We are constantly asking spirit, what should we do for the next circle? We're going back and forth with information and research. We are always on the same playbook and also off the same playbook. And then we always find our way back into the same playbook. But in terms of the community and who comes to the circle, we're never forcing nobody to have an experience they don't want. The experiences that they're having are personal and direct to them. We're just there to give the exercise like a teacher gives a kindergarten, the ABCs. We're there to give a shamanic instruction to ignite a shamanic experience.
Yeah.
And everyone truly leaves happy, released, inspired, and always looking forward to come back.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
We're trusting that we're always going to have the experience we're meant to have, right? And people, it's very interesting too in doing this work is that we can all sit down and we set up the conditions so someone can journey on their own. And that's to the drum and the other stuff. And then we have what's called a sharing circle at the end. And it's amazing to see the synchronicities of the experiences that people are having. Sometimes they've encountered the same being, they've gone to the same place, they've seen the same thing. There was a circle we did, the first
circle.
everyone was seeing purple. Everything was purple. There
Everything
was the
was
same
purple.
birds being seen.
Yeah. It's amazing when people
wild.
get together.
Purple
how-
clouds, purple trees.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like, what's going on here?
But that was a lot of third
was
eye energy.
beautiful.
There was a lot of people were opening up to something. There was an activation happening.
I've heard this before, where
Yeah.
people get together and then there's some kind of synchronicity going on between them.
Yeah.
What other techniques are there in shamanism? Sounds? What other techniques? Are there other techniques besides the drum?
There's so many.
So many. That's why
Movement.
shamanism is so beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I feel like shamanism is the inspiration or like the mother of all the medicinal practices and spiritual and esoteric. You have art therapy, you have movement, you have dance, you have poetry making, you have art therapy, you have so many things. You have the
Yeah.
sound healing,
I
you
mean-
have using your hands to co-create and learning to how
Yeah.
co-create other things, co-create yourself. Like there's so many vehicles.
It's
and
about taking us
vias.
out of our mind and moving us into our heart, and that's where the movement comes
ways.
in. You know, whether it's also what are some of the other tools that shamans use that have happened in circle work is there's soul retrieval, there's cutting cords, there's reclaiming parts of ourselves or allowing them to come up and out of us, connecting with guides, being given gifts and tools that we need to use.
Listening to the animals,
Oh
messages
yeah,
of
Yeah.
animals.
the importance of animals and birds in
Animal
shamanism.
medicine.
Huge.
What is the teaching there? What can we learn?
But there's so many, there it goes. I mean, for a shaman, for a traditional shaman and for a shamanic practitioner nowadays, Mother Earth and nature is our university, is our textbook, is our what we always fall back to recharge and connect. And in there, we always learn that the wisdom is immortal. It never ends. What you hear today from her is what you hear is different tomorrow. And every animal is here to teach us different things about our own lives, and the way we watch nature grow and die, we grow and expand teaches us that we are part of that cycle. And when we're more in tune with that cycle of nature, we're more in tune with our enlightenment, with our evolution, with our decaying, with our purpose in life. So each animal teaches each individual different things out of the same medicine, which I
They,
didn't really
they share their
notice.
medicine, you know. There's also traditionally shamans would shapeshift into animals too, become one with the energy of the animal. We had a circle where we worked with the energy of the spider.
Yes.
And spiders are all about that sacred web. And that's actually been something that for the circles we've done, the spider's message has been kind of continuously weaving throughout the different circles.
Which is always, we are in charge of the weaving of our life. We are what we attract. We are what we weave. We are what we put together, and
The web of our destiny, our
we
fate.
yes, and we share the web of life, which is the globe, which is the earth. We are all on this web, walking together. When you slip, I slip. When you fall, I fall. When you smile, I smile, because we're all connected with that one thread, which is the divine light within all of us.
You know, before we were talking during the break about people who are two-spirit people, and also I'm thinking, organized religions, can they benefit from the immediacy of shamanic practice? I'm not talking about during a church service, but what I'm saying is sometimes there are organized religions that have small groups that meet, and I'm wondering if some of these things could be brought in as giving people that special spiritual connection, that as an immediate thing that's if they feel it's lacking in their usual practice.
I definitely feel it's a
Absolutely.
possibility, but church members or any member of whatever religious group has to be open for that, as vice versa, shamanic practitioner into their religious world. It has to be like an openness from both sides, where
I think it's beginning to happen.
and it's happening. There's a
and-
merge.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like people are really tired of artificial spiritual experiences, routine experiences where just sitting down and things aren't really, if it's nothing evolving out of their practices. But if people are open to really, from both sides, and be neutral with the experience and take from it what you have to take from it, and leave what you have to leave.
Yeah, it might not be.
can
It might
happen.
not be right. all
And then it may
aspects.
not. And then it may not work. And then you have to be at peace with that,
I think
because that's
that
always going to be an ongoing thing.
Shamanism is about us having that direct spiritual experience for ourselves. Like, it's about us learning to go in and to listen to ourselves and to listen to spirit. Whereas when you work with religion, it's more about following a set sort of. This is, I mean, a shamanic journey is that direct conversation with God, source, the goddess, like all that there is, whatever word you want to put on it. But we always have to go through ourselves to find that, right? And I think that that's sort of the point of difference. But it's always about healing. It's always about learning something we didn't know, expanding our perspective and our horizons. And it's saying that any experience we can have is possible.
What did you and want to ask you about going back to the two-spirit? Is there something in there that can, as society, can make our society more healthy in terms of gender and sexuality, which is a big issue right now?
Well, I think what it is at the heart of it is it's acknowledging our own sacred divine feminine and divine masculine selves, and saying that we're not just one or the other. Just because I'm a female doesn't mean I'm only the divine masculine and Anthony's only the divine masculine. It means that we each have aspects that need to be balanced within us, right? And that a healed person can get in touch with all of those sides of themselves. And I think that that's at the core of looking, and understanding the importance of embracing a mentality of accepting the two-spirit way of looking at things, and legitimizing it and saying maybe it's not the experience everyone has, but it's a wonderful, beautiful, valid experience for those who identify with it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What was your hope, and what is your hope for the circle, for creating the circle? What do you want to see in the future? How would you define that?
Well, we are really working with what we have now, definitely, and we are growing with the sensation and the feeling that we are, as a community, forming together. But we really see the NYC Shamanic Circle growing with the vision of each participant. We're very open to the growth span in it, but also open on just collaborating with different people that work with the energies of healing each other, and just anyone in that field, artistically, spiritually, musically, everybody's input there is what's gonna make the NYC Shamanic Circle grow. Without no one's input, it's just not gonna grow. And we really want to keep the circle alive because we're seeing the impact it's having on everyone that steps in. People find it as a point of release. People are finding it as a place of just reconnecting with the spirit of the earth, with the spirit of inside their body. People are finding it. People were craving this circle for the longest, and we just never knew about it because we get comfortable in practicing our spiritual practice in our solitude. So we're basically doing the same thing we did in our solitude, but in community, and making our spiritual experiences way stronger and more impactful because we know we are learning from each other's light.
I think it's about creating a space where people can connect, transform, and heal together. And really, when we started it, I didn't really know what was going to happen. We just were wanting to move into working one-on-one with people in a way that people could just come and be open. And I think that really now it is something people connect with. People are like, well, can you meet more than once a month? You know, I think people are just hungry for it. They're just ready to connect in that way.
Let me ask you, how does shamanism view dreams? And I read the Carlos Castaneda books, Don Juan, and they had this amazing dreams. And how are dreams seen in shamanism as compared to our waking life? What do you have to say about that?
Well, in shamanism, dreams are viewed as riddles, as poems, as a space of confession, as playgrounds. Basically a place where, in a space where we all did the essence of our soul plays. That part of our body rests, but the spirit is always playing, and it's always playing. And in there, sometimes we find the answers to questions that we don't have or can have access to in the physical world, but also as just almost comedy too, in a way, when you're dreaming. It's always something to laugh about when you're in there dreaming. But it's really about riddles and
it's a space where we connect directly with source, where we're talking with spirit. And a lot of times after a circle or a shamanic journey, especially one that's very powerful and transformative, if you look at your dreams in the days that follow, it continues in there. And it's this sort of space where perhaps the real reality is in the dreams. That brings us closer to our true multi-dimensional sacred selves, and all of this is the illusion, and everything around here is it's the man-made constraints. It's
we have to wrap it up, but it's not to say that what's happening in our waking life is not important, is it? Or is
no
not to say that.
No, not at all, because that's
every dimension receives the same amount of love and care.
That's beautiful. Thank you again.